Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over FU711. I love that name, by the way. I think it's fantastic. We grade on 5 different criteria. It's who are you using, their place with their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. We just did an awesome little roundtable kind of on the fly today. Be sure to check out that stream recycle if you want to see more of that. Ramen Face and I Am Root joined me with Way Too Raw, and we just kind of bitched about bitching is what we did, and it was a lot of fun. But we're doing Defense Up now, if I can get my microphone out of the way. And we're going to go over this team number 1, which is a Brotherhood 2.0. Now, Blob is a skirmisher on this full Brotherhood 2.0 team, which he can go either way on this team. When you have Pyro in there putting out those disrupts, then making him a striker and rebounding into them and rewinding turn meter is a thing. However, on any defense, I prefer having Blob as a skirmisher, so he retaliates and puts out more vulnerables. There's plenty of vulnerables on this team, though, so going to striker is an option. However, the ISO crunch is so real that you do not want to switch him. The only thing I think that we should do on this team is maybe get a placement change. Why don't you change places with Blob and Magneto or something like that, I think. That way Blob's deflects are going on to 2 people. That's the only thing I'm going to dock you for on this team. You could alternatively make Juggernaut. You know, you could play with the ISOs, but again, it's just too expensive to change them. And these are good enough. I kind of like Pyro as a striker, so he comes back in with more bleeds, especially on a team like this with all these vulnerables getting put out on the field because you have no strikers, but that's okay. But let's just go with a placement change. I'm going to go A- on this, not too shabby. Team number 2 is a Marauder kind of hybrid with Psylocke and Dr. Octavius. I think a placement swap with probably Mystique and Psylocke is probably going to be your best fix. I don't like Strife as a skirmisher. I think Strife should be a fortifier 100%. You took him into the blue on that one. I don't see a lot of value with him as a skirmisher. I think his basic clears or transfers some stuff to Sinister, but I've never had a focus issue with him on doing that sort of thing. So I think that's kind of a waste right there. And your deflects going onto Psylocke aren't such a big deal. I think they should go to Mystique, so Mystique can give them to Sinister, and Sinister can give them to the rest of the team. I'm going to go with a B on this. It's not too exciting. You could probably be using some different people too, but a placement change and that ISO on Strife is not a good one in my opinion. Number 3, Fantastic Four. We need to move She-Hulk to the outside. Her kit does not work as it reads. She only gets 1 charge no matter how many negative effects are applied to the team. So move her to the outside. And then you want 2 strikers, 2 skirmishers. You have 3 skirmishers, 1 striker, and you put Invisible Woman as a healer. I don't like her as a healer. I like her as a skirmisher is my pick. Otherwise, that's okay. I'm going to go with a B on this team also. Number 4 is Web Warriors. We went Raider across the board with Striker on Miles. That's probably my recommended pick. I have different ISOs on my team, but don't do what I do because I do stupid things. Let's balance out those power levels, and you're going to have a great team here. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A for the time being, though. I think you're on the right path. Team number 5 is the PymTech team. We have great placement. I really do like this placement. However, I think Stature should be a Fortifier, and Wasp should be a Raider. Again, don't change those ISOs. It's not worth the change. You're close enough with these. But for those of you building this team, and don't build this team because this team's garbage, yeah, you wanna change those 2 ISOs. So we're gonna go with a B for that. Team number 6, Wave 1 Asgardians. Okay, so what happened here is we replaced the S.H.I.E.L.D. members with Asgardians. I do like Heimdall on this team in place of Black Widow. I'm not sure if Sif adds too much value. She's just one more person drawing a taunt. Depending on where your power levels are on the characters that you've already built, how old a player you are and stuff like that, this is an option for you to do. Like maybe you just don't have Hawkeye built at all, but you do have your Asgardians built, and so you go with this. It's okay. It's something to do. This is an older team. It's kind of just a filler team. Doesn't have a lot of value. It's not really worth making war ready anymore. Unless you want to build a team big, and the team isn't worth building big. Healers on the 2 Wave 1 guys, that's correct. I like Thor as a Raider. You went Striker. A lot of people did that. For some reason, I still haven't figured out why. And then you went Skirmisher on Heimdall. I like Heimdall as a Raider and Sif as a healer. I like Sif as a Raider also. but healer is a close second, so I won't dock you for that. Placement on this, I guess the placement on this is okay because you have the 3 tanks off to one side. Not really gonna matter. Yeah, I guess that placement's all right. And you got 3 healers on there trying to keep the team topped off. Honestly, I just don't like the Thor and Heimdall ISO. I could work with the rest of them. So Thor and ISO should be changed. Again, this team isn't worth investing the change in the ISOs. I wish that our green ISO was cheap enough we could play around with it and I could start recommending people go war ready no matter what and, you know, play around with some different ISOs. That would be nice, but they're not going to do that for us. They're not going to let us have that kind of fun. So for me, I'm just going to say like a B+ on this team. Just because those 2 ISOs, and I do prefer other people in this team, but these work okay depending on what you got available. Team number 7 is the AIM team. Great placement, pretty good ISOs. No, I kind of love these ISOs. Yeah, I love these ISOs. They're great. Alternatively, you could go Raider on Graviton, but nah, this works fine. I'm gonna give you an A for this team. It's a good build. It's a good build. All right, this is the old school Sinister Six, no Doc Ock. That's the way I like to see it. This is just a fill it, forget it team. They have to use some energy on it. Honestly, I think this is an overinvestment already. They're not worth making war ready. They're not worth building up or anything. There's better teams to unlock the characters that these guys can unlock and stuff. So really, I just think leave this team alone. They should probably just be on the bottom of your roster. Whatever you do, don't put Doc Ock in on this team. Eventually the community will understand how to beat that team. It's really easy to beat. When Doc Ock gets left on the field, it is unfortunate and people still get DVs with it. So it works, but I don't like it. I think Doc Ock's better used on other hybrids. So as far as the ISOs go, I like Raider or Striker. What is it I like for Electro? I don't remember. Raider works though. Raider works fine. Green Goblin is either a skirmisher or a raider in my opinion. Swarm should be a skirmisher or a raider. Rhino's definitely raider, and then Mysterio should be a striker so that he can work off of the vulnerables to clear positive effects. Doesn't matter. Don't change a thing. Not worth the investment. I think you kind of over-invested in this team already. And I don't like some of the ISO choices you made, so I'm going to give you a B for that. 9 is a Merc team. You know, if Taskmaster was a striker, I would go ahead and give you an A for this team. But you went with Raider, and I don't like that pick. Yeah, he got some AoEs, chain attacks, he puts out vulnerables and stuff. But you don't have any strikers on this team, so that's just like that 10% damage and stuff. I think he's better off as a 1.5 skirmisher, and then all your mercs as strikers. But if you don't want to do that, you make him a striker, and you go with the native ISOs on your mercs, which is what you did here. You just have him as a raider. So I'm gonna go with an A- on this team. If you could change that one ISO, I do think it's worth the change. But your merc team isn't exactly huge. It just kind of depends on where you're weighing in at war if you want to spend the ISOs to change that. I run skirmisher on Taskmaster, striker on everybody else. I really like that. You could do striker and then native ISOs on the rest of them. And team number 10 is the Heroes for Hire. We went Raider, Striker, Skirmisher, Fortifier, Healer. Luke Cage, put him to the outside, just like swap places with him in Iron Fist, and I could give you an A. As is, that's actually a big mistake. When people come into this with the Weapon X team, which is probably what they're going to be using at this power level, they're going to have a turn meter rewind with Lady Deathstrike, and she's going to be able to rewind 3 people's turn meter, and that really kind of sucks. So swap places there, get him to the outside. I could give you an A. As is, I'm actually going to go B+ on this because that's kind of a big deal, actually, having Luke Cage in the center like that. All right, this has been FU711's defensive review. If you want your defense reviewed, just go down into the description below and you'll find the links to my Discord. Hit me up there. And while you're down there, be sure to give this video a like. It helps me out a lot. Remember, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.